Please welcome Adam Tedesco from Albany.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Okay. This first piece I'm going to do is called Manatee Habitat. Off a fake beach on a man-made island, drifting in the bilgewater tow. Toes poked through sandy sheets as we watch fire dancers moving to the strove of causeway traffic, passing bridge seams and a woman beating her daughter half to death. Our heads bob in air too swollen with sweat to carry fragrance, to move at all. My brother's arm extends to point, sweeping up the opposite coast, past the off-ramp that cast a shadow on a human who was eating another human's face, stopping at a pair of towers wearing vertical turquoise, indicating a flat patch of ruin, his recent purchase. My daughter finds waxen yellow leaves swimming circles around her head. She holds one up to show me its black spots. She says there's a poem on this leaf. It goes like this, Daddy. Walk this way, now turn around, lay down, and open your eyes. It's a beautiful poem, I assure her. It's not a poem anymore, she says. It's a map. This poem is called At the Mouth of the Cave. He got all messed up on the Lord and then brought me fishing. The best thing about people is they're all pieces of shit. The worst thing in the world is to be a person, because people don't realize a piece of shit is the perfect thing to be. I closed my eyes and saw 6 billion soft-serve heads melting under infinity of autistic neurons, a pile of dead leaves expanding at the edge of orbit, dead leaves whose lifeblood now fills the punch bowl. Us pieces of shit, we're magic. We turn everything we touch to shit. Ain't nothing better than that. We carried our rods and empties back to the van. I watched the waterfall disappear between the back window's louvers and remembered a dream I inherited from my next door neighbor, where every surface is too soft and every step dents the ground, and if you get caught leaving footprints, they come and take you away to jail. This piece is called Mill Wheel. Cincinnati has the jet engines. We've got the wheel, the strut, the suction of pregnant contrails, the cold beer and pop-up shade under the flight path of your summer staycation. We have the burning rubber to smoke out ghosts of 100 dead industries as they strip their own skeletons clean of every fairest dream. We have the cold clay yard of knowing all the things we've imagined have already come true somewhere else. Every pre-war dance inscribed in our muscle and nowhere to exercise our joy. Stone-faced day hands for driving tent stakes and nickels for the big top. Mechanics delight in our breast and a belly full of rye. And you could drink here under the grapevines, speaking to animals, scurrying through the alley gate, and you could play your accordion. And every now and then, just before dawn, they'd stop to listen. This piece is called The Aphids. You're riding in a car with your family. You're on your way home from a party. You've been in the sun all day drinking. You're in the passenger seat. Aphids are crawling through the hair on your shins. The sensation is driving you crazy, but you don't wipe them away because you made a promise not to kill anything. You fall asleep. You wake up in a hospital. Someone you don't know says you've been in an accident. Your family is dead. You get out of the hospital. You spend a month in bed. You get out of bed and you pour yourself a drink. You drink away 2 years. You meet a woman. She makes you feel better, not okay, but better. You know she's good and she knows you're good, and that's enough for both of you. Together, you move to a new city, you get new jobs, and you buy a house with what's left of the insurance money. Across the driveway from your new house, down a little hill, you plant a garden. It's a square of trellis. Roses climb tall and wide there. You buy the largest stone you can find and have it placed at the square's center. You build a bench inside the square. Every morning you walk across your driveway down the little hill and sit on the bench. You fold your hands in your lap and wait for the wind. And when it comes, the sunlight shining through the shifting leaves dances on your face, and you close your eyes and smell the blossoms in the wind and remember what it was like to stand in the grass on sunny days and smell the tops of their heads. And you're sitting there holding this as hard as you can, and aphids are crawling through the hairs on your shins. And you don't wipe them away because you made a promise not to kill anything. Okay, this is the last piece I'll read. It's called Felled. In the morning, I'll wake you early so we can burn the edges together. I soaked your map in a jar of Earl Grey. Now it's drying. Before you went to bed, you looked it over to make sure it was still legible, scanning for the gold spots. Maybe tomorrow we'll trace your lines in acrylic, thicken them up. Past the dark forest near the folded corner, there's a blank spot where you told me something. A place you can only get to through a tornado. I wanted to tell you I'd been there. I was in a tiny bakery when it was still part of Storytown. When the anvil formed and the tower leaned down, my mother told me to put my head down and knocked on the tiny shelter's 2x4 frame. I heard a roaring belch, and when I peeked through the plexiglass window, I saw a pair of twisted legs sticking out from under the felled tree's belly. Cinderella's horse was bucking, and they gave me a free pass to the left fish shop. I tried to bring you there, but a teenager with blood in her hair pointed a knife at your neck, and you started crying, running to your mom. I tried to tell you it'd be okay. I told you about how when I used to come here, and I'd ride the tornado because it gave my sweat a chance to dry. I wanted to tell you about all the tornadoes I've been. The pussy funnel, whiskey spout, multi-vortex of blood and coca ethylene, the spinning tower of fire, living with the teenage girl that held the knife, the supercell of the people, people that don't live here, people that live in a place you can only get to through a tornado. They live in dung-bricked huts and pack clay into brick molds all day, while you write persuasive essays and read about every species of dangerous fish. If you ask me what the people use to burn the edges of their treasure maps while eating cereal inside their huts, I'll tell you I assume they use a dung-fueled fire. But I'm not sure, and it's not important, because you'll never be one of the people. You'll build tornadoes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.